Hello, Thrivers. Welcome to our Thriving Thursday. Heather Choate here, and I come to you with love. My intention is to really create this as a powerful training, a really transformative experience. I'm just going to be really real and really honest and vulnerable with you guys as we talk about a very common emotion of fear and how fear shows up in our marriages and in our lives. Fear, I believe, is one of the least understood of all human emotions. And so what we want to do is understand what fear really is, why it shows up for us, and what to do about it, right? Oftentimes I hear people talking like this, and I've done it myself, right? I've been there too, but getting so trapped in our fears or avoiding the emotion of fear altogether. And what I've learned and what I want to discuss with you today in this training is how fear is actually a very powerful teacher. And I'm going to share with you why I love fear and introduce you to a practice that I have created, coming from all of the gurus and all of the incredible mindset experts out there and those that have personally impacted my life. I've distilled it down into a very specific practice that helps us move through fear and learn what it is trying to teach us. So hello, Matthew. Hello, Kaylee. Oh, so great to see you guys. Wes, Francis, Matthew, Tina, Billy Ann. Oh, so many familiar faces. Grateful that you're joining me here today. If you can see and hear me okay, let me know. I do have some new tech, so I want to make sure that it's working correctly. My husband's the tech guy, and he's not here. Obviously, he's up in the air flying with the student right now. So he's not here to help me make sure all the tech is working well. So you guys are going to be my eyes and ears. Sound good? Hey, Billy Ann, good to see you. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Leah. So let's dive in. So just some comments that I've heard in the group is, I'm afraid my spouse is going to leave me. I'm afraid it's too little too late. I'm afraid they're too far gone. I'm afraid of setting a healthy boundary and what that might look like. I'm afraid that they're going to go back and that they're going to cheat on me again. They're going to have an affair. I'm afraid of doing anything. So I do nothing because I'm so afraid of doing the wrong thing that I end up doing nothing instead. I'm too afraid to make a decision. I'm too afraid to try to implement some of the things because I just don't know if it's going to be the right thing to do. Does that sound familiar? Does it sound like you? What does fear look like for you? Bottom line is fear is very powerful. And what happens I'm going to put on my nerd hat here, but I love neuroscience and psychology, but on a neurological level, what happens is fear instantly shifts us from the reasoning part of our brain into our limbic system and activates our limbic system. And what happens is it reduces blood flow from the reasoning part of our brain that helps us make effective decisions and see things from a more analytical standpoint, or helps remind us of our goals and what we really want to do. It shifts us completely away from that and into our animalistic instincts. So we immediately go to increasing blood flow to the fight, flight, or freeze response, right? We're all very familiar with that. And each of us has a different response to that. Some of us are gonna fight. We're gonna bring more fuel to the fire. We're gonna come with guns blazing and we're ready to charge and bring in the action, right? If something's scaring us, we're in fear mode, then we're gonna wanna control. We're gonna wanna manipulate. We're going to want to get into action, and even sometimes that can look very effective. Like we're going to want to find solutions and really try to push our spouse to do this, or we're going to be pushed to do certain things. We're going to take action. We're going to fight this, okay? The other response is flight. We're going to run away from it. We're going to close up emotionally. We're going to withdraw. We're going to give the silent treatment, trying to create space between us and what we are afraid of, what we perceive as a threat. Okay, the other one is the freeze, which is I'm too afraid to do anything, so I'm going to do nothing. I'm just going to seize up, and I'm not going to know what to do or what to say or how to act. So they just kind of tense up and stay stuck in the fear. So what does fear look like for you? Do a quick check-in of those three that I talked about, and it might be more specific to you, but that's kind of the generalizations. Which one do you find yourself in response to more often than not? Okay. Does fear paralyze you? Does it cause you to act out in, maybe some not so healthy behaviors, causing you to overreact, over-respond, causing you to lash out or show anger, anything like that? Do you suppress it? Do you try to push it away? Anything like that. Do you try to numb yourself from it? Do you try to distract yourself away from what's fearful, away from what's uncomfortable? We see that as those that turn to any kind of distraction numbing technique, whether that be drugs or alcohol, TV, shopping, food, anything like that, to try to just distract yourself from those unpleasant feelings. So just be really honest as we do this together. What does it look like for you? How is it showing up in your life? What is your normal habitual response when you feel that fear? And then take a look at, how is this affecting my life? Okay, take like a 30,000 foot view. If you could just pull yourself right up above the situation, right up out of yourself, and take a look at your life in the big picture. How is this affecting things for you? How does it affect you on a day-to-day basis? Are you carrying like a constant knot of anxiety in your stomach? Does it keep you up at night with those racing thoughts and those fears that are just tumbling around in you? Is it something, again, that maybe you're trying to suppress or avoid? How does it look like for you in your life? And how is this affecting your relationship with your spouse, your husband or your wife? How is this affecting them? And how could your responses be adding or contributing, influencing or affecting the dynamic between you and your spouse, and maybe some of the cycles or patterns that you find yourself in? Okay. So I want you to really do an honest evaluation, a check-in, almost as if you're at that 30,000 foot view and you're looking down on this situation. You can see it much more clearly right now because you're not in your limbic system. You have the reasoning part of your brain, and you can use your incredible, powerful brain that we've all been given, our minds, to look at it and to see it for what it really is. Okay. So now that we've kind of given a check-in, and you might have a maybe more unawareness, that's not what I'm trying to say, awareness and understanding, I'm combining words, not unawareness, more awareness and understanding of yourself and the role that fear is playing for you in your life. Now I want to talk about why I love fear, okay? I know that might sound really, really strange. I actually love fear. I love all emotion, including negative emotion. I've learned to really embrace that because it is an incredibly powerful teacher if we let it, okay? And that we can use those negative emotions to guide us. They're there to serve us. They're given to us for a reason. Try to imagine your life as if you had no fear at all. What if fear never came up for you? What if you were completely like impervious to any sensation of fear? Life would be very, very different and not a good way, right? What would that look like for you guys? I'd love to see what that would look like. If we had no fear at all, we would not have the warning of pain. We would not have the warning to flee from danger. We wouldn't have that feedback to guide us, right? So fear is actually a really, really good thing. So how can we let it become our teacher? And why are we even talking about this? Did you get a lesson in college or in high school about fear? Did your teacher sit down and be like, okay, we're talking about fear. This is what it is. This is why it's here. This is what we're going to do about it. Oh, you missed that lesson too? So did I. I was never taught that. I was never taught that until life circumstances brought me to such a desperate point where I had no choice but to learn from it and to find the solutions that I needed to save my own life and to save my child's life, being pregnant and diagnosed with breast cancer at the same time. So with that, I have learned that fear is an incredibly powerful teacher. It's there to serve us. It's there to guide us. All right, so I'm going to check the chat here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, first we're talking about, Sarah says freeze, then went into fight. His was flight. Yeah, really good awareness. Billy Ann says it's affecting me in every way possible. Yep, self-destruction, Dan says. Really good awareness, guys. Okay. So the first thing that I really want us to understand about fear, beyond that we want to embrace it and it's there to teach us, is I want you to think back in your life on the moments that you are most proud of yourself, the moments that you feel like you really shone, you stepped up to the plate, you did something that you are so just deeply proud of in your life. And go ahead and let me know what that is in the comments. I really want you to get some clarity on this. What comes up for you? What are you so proud of yourself? Something that just fills you with that sense of accomplishment, that sense of fulfillment, that you know you stepped up to the plate and you did a great job. Okay, so I want you to check in. Let me know what that feels like. And I think there's a little bit of a lag in my comments between when they're showing up and when you're actually posting them. So I'll just keep checking as we continue on here. And I got something on my lip, sorry. All right, the funny thing about a live stream is I'll be doing a training or something in front of a live group and I'll have no idea, you know, that there's like something in my teeth or that my hair is like sticking up weird. I'm like totally great. But when it's like this, I see myself, so it's like talking into the mirror. So anyway, so funny. I'm gonna laugh about this later with Ben. Okay, so the times that you were most proud of, I'm not seeing, there we go. The birth of my children, Rachel says. Took care of my grandma as she was dying. Wow, Julie. Being a mom and a great friend. Awesome. So I want you to specifically isolate some very particular moments that were the moments that you're the most proud of. For me, it was usually something that I almost didn't do. I almost didn't do it. There was something that I just felt justified in my mind and I almost quit. It was going to be too hard. I'll give a couple different examples. Like in high school, I loved to sing, but I was really insecure. And so I wanted to go out for the High School Musical. I was just terrified though. But I wanted to do it. I almost did it. The day of the thing, I was like, maybe I'm sick today and I'm just gonna duck out and I'm not gonna audition. But I did it anyway. And I did it and I actually got the part. And then my self-esteem just grew from there and my confidence. But I look back at that moment when I almost quit, I did it anyway. I kept going anyway. And then I think about falling in love with my husband. I just had my heart broken, was deeply in love with this man and we were almost engaged. And then it didn't work out. And so I was just heartbroken. And then a few months later, Ben came along and I was not prepared. I was not looking for a relationship and that fear of being hurt again, but then allowing myself to be vulnerable, taking that step forward with him was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I'm so proud of myself for doing that. Another one is building this business, building a business online and not knowing what to do, knowing that most businesses fail and having this big dream, this big ambition, a desire to truly help people in their most sacred relationships, but not knowing how to do it. That took a leap of faith. It took courage, right? So what does it look like for you in those moments that you almost didn't do it and you maybe had reasons why you shouldn't do it, you were justified, you had excuses, and it almost would be easier to back out and not do it, but you did it anyway. So those moments when we're most proud in our lives, can you see that it's just on the other side of fear? It's like there was the fear and you took a step past the fear. So that teaches us a really important point right there, that when we feel that fear, the things that we really want and the sense of joy and accomplishment and pride, healthy pride that we have in ourselves is always one step past fear, okay? I remember having to do chemotherapy when I was pregnant and facing some really terrifying and difficult circumstances. And I wanted to back out. I didn't want to do it. But in my heart, I knew that I needed to. I knew that this was the right thing to do. I knew I was led to this path for a reason. And I just had to step forward anyway. And it was like stepping into the darkness, not knowing if there's going to be a cliff and I'm just going to fall, or knowing if there's going to be a bridge, if there's going to be something there to support me. I know that feeling. And taking that one step into the darkness, like I could fall flat on my face. I could literally lose my child. I could literally lose my life. And I'm just going to take that step anyway. And okay, there was a step there. I didn't see it. I stepped into the darkness and there was ground there. And then I take another step into the darkness and there was ground there. And I took another step. And so it's by that. It's that faith without knowing beforehand if it's going to work, but that it's important enough that we need to move forward and we need to take those actions. Fear is teaching us that there's something that we really, really want on the other side. There is a Will Smith quote. Oh, I have my own version, but I love what he talks about in fear. And there's a couple YouTube clips where he specifically talks about how he's motivated by fear. And it goes something like, everything, this is my own version, everything we really want is on the other side of fear. But everything that really matters to us, it is on the other side of our fear. And my mentor, Carrie MacArthur, she talks about how she is addicted to the feeling of fear and how she used to keep herself in a very small, confined space to the point where she felt she couldn't even breathe. Like she was so constricted. And then her mentor, and like she's done with me, pushing you through that fear and now finding the joy and the incredible deliciousness of life that is on the other side of that fear. So what is on the other side of your fear? What is it that you're really wanting but resisting at the same moment? What is it that you're really, your soul is craving? It's there, it's speaking to you. And if you can get through that fear and get to that other side, the reward will be there. So I want you to identify what that is. What is your fear trying to teach you right now? And what is on the other side of the fear that will be yours if you choose to move through the fear and allow it to teach you, okay? All right, I'm gonna check the chat here again because I've been going. Really good. Wendy says, it's important for my self-respect to set boundaries with my husband, regardless of the response I get from him. Ah, Wendy, yes. And this reminds me, yeah, you've gone on an incredible journey with that. Getting my certification, awesome. Staying in my marriage after multiple affairs, Rachel says. Very, very good. So we've identified that the moments we're most proud of in our past have been on the other side of fear. And can you see now that what you really want, what your soul is really craving, is on the other side of your fear? So how do we bridge that gap? How do we take that step, okay? So there's a couple really important things that we can do. When we sense that fear, it's really important to do our best to calm our body and our mind, because that mind-body connection, and get out of our limbic system so that we can feel what our soul is trying to tell us. And I have distilled everything down that I've learned about this, all these principles, and put them into a very powerful process that I've used that has gotten me through those moments of fear and helped me shift out of fear to find my power, and to shift out of fear, moving us into faith and into love. Because the truth is that we cannot feel fear and love at the same time. Now, I know many of you, if not all of you, are doing the Better Me, Better Marriage challenge, and the entire heart of that whole challenge is choosing to have love and peace instead of fear, and knowing that we can make that choice at any time. It is truly within us. So I want us to be really aware, what is this fear trying to teach me? What is it trying to show me right now? And the way to do that, let's just practice real quick. The very beginning of this process, I'll give you the sneak peek, the very beginning of what this looks like. So say you're going through your day, you're feeling kind of emotionally neutral, right? All of a sudden something triggers. Say it's a text from your spouse. Okay, we'll just use that. And as soon as you see that your spouse has texted you, you get that tension, and you get that kind of shot of anxiety, right? So what's happening is that your mind is now going into its limbic system, and you're going to go into your habitual fear response. What we want to do is that a pattern interrupt right there and move out of the limbic system. Take a deep breath, because that is what signals to our brain, I'm okay. It's all right. The mind-body connection. We can move out of the limbic system. We can increase our oxygen. We can think clearly and bring the blood flow back to where we want it, so that we can listen to our inner being, okay? And connect and ask ourselves, what is this trying to teach me? I'm going to give an example, okay? I'm going to call this client Julie. So Julie, a couple weeks ago, I was doing this as a training for our premium clients, and Julie was having fear about setting a healthy boundary with her alcoholic husband. In the past, anytime she had tried to have conversations like this or create healthy boundaries with him, he had reacted very negatively and gotten very angry and hostile, right? So she has a very good reason to be afraid of wanting to set this healthy boundary. So much so that she hadn't yet done it, right? And she was continuing to live the same cycle over and over with her husband without the change really occurring. So now she'd been coached by Mark. She knew she needed to set this healthy boundary. But this fear kept coming up. What if he's angry? What if it pushes him further away? What if it doesn't work out? What if it backfires, right? All these different fears were coming up. So we went through this process, took the deep breath. What is my fear trying to teach me? It's trying to teach me, in this case, and I want you to do this for you and see what comes up for you. In her case, it was, I want to be able to feel heard. I want to feel like I have a voice in my marriage. I want to feel confident. And I want to have self-respect. And my fear is teaching me that those things are really important to me. And up until this point, I haven't had that in my relationship. And I haven't been living congruent to the truth of who I really am, which is that I am deserving of respect in my marriage. I am deserving of a voice. I am confident. I am capable. I respect myself. And so it showed her what was really important to her when she slowed down and examined, what is this fear trying to teach me? It's keeping me back. Excuse me, I'm spitting. Oh my goodness. Camels. If you saw my live stream a couple weeks ago, you know what I'm talking about. Camels. All right. I'll just leave it at that. But, you know, it's understanding why this is coming up. And instead of staying stuck like you had in the same way for year after year, in many cases, right? Week after week, day after day, whatever it might be. Instead of staying stuck there, recognizing what she wanted, that healthy relationship with healthy boundaries, was on the other side of that fear. And if she didn't take that step forward, then she was going to stay stuck and she was going to have to settle for what they had. So recognizing all of those things and then moving through the entire process of moving through the fear, identifying what it's trying to teach us, and then getting into the power zone, which is centered in that peace and the love that is within all of us, and tapping into that and acting from that place. That is where the magic happens. And so through this process, it's something that you can do literally within 30 seconds when you get it down, and it works that quickly to turn things around for you. So that now you're no longer suppressing your fear. You're no longer running away from situations where it's something that you know is what you really need to get where you want to be, instead of staying stuck in your comfort zone. It feels comfortable because it's what you know, but you know it's actually not comfortable at all. It's actually a lot of pain and a lot of yuck. And for some reason our brains are like, no, go back there. You know this. This is the way it's always been, and doing something new is really scary and we don't know if it's going to work out. So we're just going to stay stuck here, right? That's what it keeps trying to do. So it's moving past that. And it's no longer allowing fear to turn us into some kind of animalistic monster where we lash out and we're like clawing and scratching at everyone. I'm using it as a metaphor. Hopefully you're not really clawing and scratching at everyone. And if you are, well then it'll help with that too. But yeah, I hope you guys get my point. But it helps us go through, away from all of those ineffective responses, and helps us tap into that sense of peace and centeredness, clarity, self-awareness, and then effective actions. So that's the big picture. That's what it looks like. And like I said, I put this together in a proven process that takes all of the very best of every guru, every mentor, every religious leader out there, and distills it into a process that you can go through. And as you do it more and more, you can do it very, very quickly. And it moves you through that fear so that you can truly get to what you want on the other side. And that feeling of pride of, wow, I can't believe I did that. I almost didn't, but I did. And I'm so glad I did. It was the best thing I've ever done. Look at that. I didn't think I could do it. And the beautiful thing is I did it anyway. And look at it. I did do it. I can do that. I can experience this in my life. That feeling that's where your power is. And that's when the evidence starts to show up in your life. And you know that you've really created your life by design in the way that you want to. You step into your power and you step into the truth of who you really are. So My invitation to you is I'd love to give you this training, and I'm offering it right now as a bonus to anyone who joins one of our programs, any one of them. I really don't care. We've got our relationship reboot course. If you're not a member of that, really encourage you to do that, because it's our proven step-by-step process to restoring your marriage. Beyond that, understanding the truth of who you are, getting to know yourself and who you really are, not the story version that you've been telling yourself that's keeping you in pain for so long, but the truth of who you really are. That's what our relationship reboot course does. And if you're looking for more support from us, if you want to work with Mark and I one-on-one, we are going to be opening our doors for coaching soon. We've actually, that's coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be really, really exciting. But I encourage you to listen to that inner being and find out what it's calling you to do. Your soul knows where you need to go, but our minds, they can become really, really jumbled up in the chaos of it all. And that fear mode will just take us right out of where we want to be. And so it's learning to allow fear to become our teacher, to move us and empower us forward. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me with this. If you have any questions at all, if I can support you in any way, please let me know. And if you want to get the full training, because I can't give you the whole picture right now, but if you want to get the full training, go ahead and just say power, because it's a power training. It's a power practice that has transformed my life, and I know that it will be of service to you. So if you want to get that, just go ahead and put the comment power, and I'll know that you're an action taker that's ready to heal, that's ready to move yourself forward. And I'll go ahead and get that over to you. Awesome. Turning fear into power. Dibsy says, yes, love this. Awesome. I appreciate you guys. My heart, my love, my appreciation go out to you. And may the fear and the hope and the love be with you, because it's all good. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.